Hello, 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 and welcome back, all of my beautiful, wonderful, absolutely gorgeous, and striking friends from the internet. I am so happy to be with you on another beautiful Tuesday. I am so excited for this episode and to chat with y'all for, just under an hour here, just over half an hour. So, welcome to the show, everybody. So, welcome to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, remember to like, remember to comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating and also leave us a review. You have absolutely no idea how much that helps the show and helps spread the show to whoever may want to listen to it. Remember, there is a Spotify feature where you can answer this week's Reddit question by clicking the description of the episode. Below the description, you should see this week's question, and to the right is a white icon that says reply. We have just been getting consistent replies on this feature on Spotify, and also you don't need a subscription to download and listen to episodes on Spotify. It's completely free, so you can head over there, and you will also be notified when your response is published. So why don't we go and read off this past week's episode responses. So last week's episode was, what was your never interrupt an enemy while they're making a mistake story? So we have got 4 replies to read off here. So Bill says, I have a story to tell, but I can only put 200 letters or characters. Is there somewhere we can message you for longer stories? Keep up the good work. Look forward to Tuesday's podcast. Thank you so much, Bill. Yes, go to my YouTube channel, Reddit Asks Us on YouTube, and I don't know if there's a comment limit on or a character limit on YouTube. I don't think so. I've had people comment some really long stories on YouTube. So Bill, if you want to go head over to YouTube, you can comment your full story there, and I will read it out on next week's episode. But thank you all. Thank you so much. Mason tells us, hey, don't have a story, but great job making it to 150. Thank you so much, Mason. The podcast has come a long way since episode 1. When episode 1 started, it wasn't even the same show, not even remotely close. So it does. I've been doing the show for 3 years now, and it does feel pretty surreal, that that's 3 years of hard work, and I built it up from scratch too. And I didn't have and it's still growing. But it's I never I don't know. I didn't really stress myself out too hard. I just really wanted to just make the content, and I'm really glad that people are enjoying it. So thank you so much for the congratulations on episode 150. So Stressed Human comments and says, basically my coworker tried to frame me for stealing from the till and didn't know 20 minus 7 without a calculator. P.S. I'm leaving for a few weeks, but can't wait to catch up. Can't wait to come back and catch up on your show. Thank you so much, Stressed Human. I hope that you have fun on whatever you're doing in the next few weeks, and that you enjoy the show when you come back. But I don't think that blaming someone else for stealing for the register is quite a good look when they're they don't even really know math that well. It's like, maybe we shouldn't even have hired you. So Phil Savannah comments, I switched from Spotify to Google Podcasts and forgot to add yours. Oh no. I went back and listened to everything since episode 142. Keep it up and I'll be responding from now on. Come and visit Savannah, pterodactyl on. That was funny. I'll never forget Phil Savannah's pterodactyl comment. I can't remember what episode that was, but that was really funny though. And I would love to come to Savannah. Savannah, Georgia is a place that I would really like to visit. The United States, the whole southern United States is a place I'd really like to go, like Louisiana, Georgia. I'd like to spend more time in Florida, but it's just trying to get myself down there. And for Canadians, it's the dollar's not great. Let's just say that the dollar is, and the exchange rate it hurts you. Definitely hurts. So thank you all so much for commenting, and I really appreciate you commenting. If anyone wants to chime in, say anything, I know how many listeners we get to this podcast per week, so I know that we can bump those numbers up. I really love hearing from each and every one of you, so thank you so much. All right, so this week's episode is, What is your secret that you can't tell anyone because it will probably ruin your life? So first comment comes from Pippy Slippy Chips 1987. I have no idea what I'm doing at work. That's like the guy who gets lost in the crowd in the elevator and the boss is like, okay, guys, everyone pull it off in this meeting. And then he just shuffles everyone out and he's like, doesn't even bother to look at you. And you kind of just get shuffled in the crowd. And then you're like, wait a second, I don't even work here. I'm visiting my wife. She's on the other floor. And then before you know it, boom, you're a CEO. That's probably honestly the CEO story is today. These people have zero qualifications. But fair enough. Just don't let them know. Don't let them know, Pippy Slippy. Next one comes from Butterman1028. I just love how all the stories on here are either September 3rd at 2:37 a.m. I went to a truck stop and murdered someone in the bathroom, or my homemade cookies aren't homemade. That's the beauty of Reddit, okay? The beauty of Reddit is that it's a diverse place. All right, we got a lot of different responses on Reddit, so feel free to share anything, Maybe Reddit is so good at catching criminals. Who knows? Maybe there's one already on here. Milfins Aberg says, 5 years before my stepdad died of Alzheimer's and leukemia, I noticed he was very quiet in the evenings. And when I visited him and my mom, I asked, why don't you talk a bit more? To which he responded, if I don't say anything, I can't say anything wrong. I took it to mean that he was afraid of conflicts with my mom and said that I would want to hear anything he had to say. Classic boomer joke. After he died, I realized what he said. I was at lunch with him when he tried to ask me something, but put in completely wrong nouns, wrong nonsense choices, and every time he did that, my mom started laughing and said, haha, now you've gotten things totally weird. She didn't know she was being condescending because she didn't know that he was getting advanced dementia. None of us knew back then. And she just brushed his mistakes off as being silly mistakes. She couldn't know it, shamed him so much that he stopped talking, since he didn't trust his words anymore, nor his sense of balance. I will never explain this to my mom, not even if I am super angry. I would do unretractable damage to my relationship with her. She mourned him deeply. That is so tough. How did you figure this out? Like, how did you... Maybe just like a looking back sort of thing. Maybe he was just like, no, that's... Definitely also couldn't remember like anything, that's kind of typical sign of maybe a little bit of that Alzheimer's, but that's awful. That's terrible. She was just insulting him the whole time and he's just like, I don't think I'm getting the resources that I need here. So I think I'm just gonna shut her down. That's tough. I'm really sorry to hear that. Lloyd Lippa comments and says, my 54-year-old secret would ruin several lives. My childhood best friend's little brother is actually my son, and his grandchildren are my grandchildren. What? You banged his mom? What the fuck, bro? What? How does that even stay a secret? It's literally your entire family, bro. Your 54-year-old secret? How does this even, what? I need to know, okay, you need to work for the CIA, okay, because however you pulled this off is masterful. Okay, this involves some serious plotting. How could you do that? How could your best friend, like, you're part of the family now. Like, this man is the embodiment of Q evasive maneuvers. Q evasive maneuvers. Yeah, that is unbelievable. I'm floored by that. I feel like, and we need to know more. Okay, we need to figure out how this happened. You need to describe. You need to explain. Nothing 7891 says, I didn't stop doing martial arts because I was annoyed that they took in kids group and we were expected to help coach them while still paying for our own classes. I stopped because fighting other men made me horny as hell, and that was not a context in which I wanted to interact with kids. And then I realized how fucked up it was that I was fighting other guys for my sexual gratification while they just saw it as fighting, period. So fighting on a whole kind of got shameful and disgusting. So I quit. Well, respect to you for realizing that, but it's like, you gotta wonder, did all the other guys notice? It's like, I don't really like fighting Mark. You always notice he's got a boner, man. Every time we fight, he's just like rock solid, man. Like, it's like one time I was like getting choked out, and then I'm like, wait a second. Humans only have 2 hands. What is that? No. Yeah, bro. Maybe I'm surprised. Maybe you might should reflect back on that and think, yeah, there were actually a lot of guys who wouldn't really fight me. I never really knew why, but yeah, think about it. Mostly half the club. Sensei would always reluctantly fight me. Always reluctantly. He was always like, I guess. The one guy, though, fucking Linus, he was always ready to fight me. Shout out Linus. He's like, I'll fight you. Other Mike P comment says, all my passwords are the same word with different combinations of numbers and punctuation marks. Vogie replies and says, a friend of mine's old roommate used the same answer for every question, which was like spaghetti. He said even though he knew what it was, the handful of times he wanted to get on his roommate's computer and go into his uni email, he'd get most of the way through and then realize he didn't know how to spell spaghetti in the moment without looking at it. Oh, that's funny. Honestly though, you know what actually has helped me out a lot, and this is a shout out to Apple, but I use Apple's suggested passwords because they're always like random things that no one would ever be able to guess. So whenever I log into new sites and stuff and I do it on my phone, Apple will just suggest you a random password. So I never and I use my Face ID and all this stuff to log into like everything. So I actually don't even know what like half of my passwords are. So, the biggest problem is if I ever end up in some sort of accident where my face becomes injured and it's unrecognizable, then I think we're going to run into some issues. I don't know if I'm going to be able to access my banking account. But use the AI, or not the AI. I'm still used to saying AI now because AI is fucking everything. AI suggested password. No, use the Apple suggested passwords because you'll never go wrong with that. I used to use the same password for everything, and then I got hacked, and I've also gotten my credit card not stolen, but I've had people purchase things on like my debit credit card, then I've had to get new ones. Like, it's just a whole hassle. Please, definitely a bad thing to do. All right, next one comes from back in New Jersey again. At Christmas, my family loves my homemade eggnog. It's just high-end, store-bought eggnog, and I put 1 to 2 tiny pieces of eggshell to make it look like they were mist when I strained the eggnog. You can make your own eggnog? What? An eggnog is actually made of eggs? It doesn't even taste like... What is eggnog? Like, is there other nogs? Is there milk nog? Is there cheese nog? Like, where does this nog come from? What is the nog? Where does the egg end and the nog begin? These are the real... I'm a philosophy student, folks. These are the real philosophical questions we need to be asking, okay? At what point does the egg become the one with the nog? At what point does the nog reach nogness? Like, what? How much egg do you need for it to nog? You know what I mean? Like, that's why do you do this? People, she just wants the compliments. Like, this is the only thing I really got going for me. So, I'm just gonna, I hold on to that. I hold on to that every single year. It's got to be the eggnog. All right. I need this one. I need this win. Okay. It's been a pretty dark year for me. Pretty dark year. So I need this win. Someone finds it out. Just give me this one. You gotta give me this one. Super Thrust 123 comments and says, I've had a back spasm, or I've had a bad back from time to time, and it goes into full spasm. One day I was getting out of bed, and as my foot hit the floor, I went into a full spasm. I have no idea how, but a perfectly formed turd fell out of my leg, fell out the leg of my shorts and landed on the floor. Due to my spasm, I fell and landed right in it. The commotion woke up my girlfriend at the time, and she ran over to check on me. I blame the dog. I've never actually told anyone this before. Yeah, so, Timmy Tugboat replies and says, oh no, babe, come here. Someone shit my pants. Someone shit the floor. What the fuck? It's like, it's the dog. Honey, we haven't had a dog since last year. You know, Snuffles, he died. Do you not remember that? Did you just lie to me about what? Shitting on your face? Is that why there's shit on your face? What is this? Is this a new thing for you? I don't want to shame you, but why did you lie? Theor Lane replies and says, when my niece was little, she pooped her pants. My sister said somebody pooped in their pants to try to talk about it with other adults without shaming the child. My niece excitedly exclaimed, somebody pooped in my pants. Who could have done it? It's the mystery person. Whenever, go to take off your pants when you're, I don't know, if you were taking a random midday shower and going to put on the same clothes, someone just sneaks in, poops in your pants. Oh my God. Next one comes from Shastabha. I was once at a party for my nephew's birthday and really had to go. I noticed they had a basement bathroom, so while cake was being served, I dropped a deuce that could peel paint. I was able to sneak in and out without anyone noticing. Fast forward to the party, and my sister and brother-in-law were complaining about 2 other family members clogging the upstairs bathroom and stinking up the basement. They complained that the smell lasted for days and that it had to be professionally cleaned. To this day, they blame the other couple to the point that they get angry discussing the topic. SB YOLO replies and says, you are the party pooper. Oh my God. It's just like, yeah, that's such a crazy time. Like, why would 2 people go just right after each other, not flush? So weird. Like, that's so weird. You should never invite them to anything ever again and, like, never ask them or talk to them about it ever. Why don't we just, like, that should be, like, our new policy, okay? Like, let's just, like, do that, that's disrespect. That's vandalism, okay? They vandalized your house, so, don't even bring it up. Or don't even, like, said that I was, like, saying anything about it either, don't even, they know. They got it. Silent Guy 99. I fall asleep every night in horror because my former best friend and I haven't talked in 3 years because for her 21st birthday, we both got massively blackout drunk and smoked. I have no idea what, I have no idea what happened that night. Ever since she's never answered a message that I sent. I think you might have told her you loved her. Tried to kiss her. Didn't go well. Woke up the next morning. Maybe she caught you trying to suck her toes. Maybe that's what it was. You are the drunken toe sucker. When you get blackout drunk, you just can't help yourself from on those little piggies, They're calling your name. But yeah, this is that's scary. That's got to be scary. Asleep Onion replies and says, this kind of thing is what made me stop binge drinking years ago. You wake up in the next morning or afternoon, and the first thing someone says to you is, so, exactly how much do you remember about last night? And you know right away that whatever they say is never a good thing. To paraphrase a comedian I've heard recently, it's never going to be great news. You made $5,000 when you were blackout drunk last night. Yeah, it's never going to be great news. Yeah, I remember hearing that. What is that? But yes, you're never going to be pleasantly surprised, you know? So you got absolutely plastered last night. But we're going to have dinner with Obama. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. If I had to go out on a limb, you know, I was considering oh, this sounds so horrible. I don't want to act like I'm like a Mr. Binge drinker over here and that I always forget. But I feel like when you go out and have really fun nights sometimes, you don't always remember everything, you know, that sounds so horrible. And I was thinking, I looked up on the internet, I was seeing if it was a thing where people wear tiny little body cams, and then they can watch back what they did the other night. I got the idea because I saw a funny clip on on Instagram where it was a skit where this guy was getting drunk and he got followed around by a camera crew, and he was his memory, he was reenacting his memory, and it was he's I made up with my ex-girlfriend, you know, we really patched things up, you know, he did all this stuff, and then he watched the tape again the next day from the documentary crew, and he's outside his girlfriend's place, he's slamming on the door, he's I just want to talk, and she's get the fuck away from me. She's I'm gonna call the fucking cops. She's did you not listen about that fucking restraining order? It's a funny skit. But yeah, it's I don't want to make that sound like I'm Mr., you know, blackout drunk, because obviously I don't do that, but I'd just be curious to see what it would be like to rewatch a night like that when it's you've got a body cam on or something. I wonder if you'll run into moments you forget. A little less good here. New comment says, the story everyone knows is my boyfriend and I voluntarily left our workplace because our relationship went against work policy and we valued our relationship more than our crappy jobs. The truth is, we got caught fucking in the car before work and left in order to avoid repercussions. Well, I think that's one of those, you know, white lies or whatever. You don't really, you know, people... It's ignorance on that one on the other part of people's hands, you know, because now they're always going to have a nice story, you know? They're always going to be they persevered. They left their jobs for their relationship and their love for one another. Cindy, why can't we have that? It's yeah, that's exactly why we left. Yeah. You know, don't check the security cameras. Fred Waterford is dead. Is that a person? Is that Fred? Should I know who Fred Waterford is? Comments and says, I'm 40 and my parents have no idea that I never actually graduated college. I went for almost 6 years and never felt like I really knew what I was doing. School wasn't necessarily hard for me, but I just couldn't bring myself to focus or be dedicated to it. My parents were super obsessed with the idea that everyone needs a degree in order to get any decent job. So there was a ton of pressure and dropping out wasn't an option. So I graduated in a winter semester and decided not to walk the stage since the December ceremony was always pretty small and I knew that they wouldn't think that was weird. It's cold, Mom. I don't want to graduate. I'm graduating in the winter semester, okay, but we don't need to go to the ceremony. Why don't we just do something at home? It's so freezing outside. Not even worth it. So I decided not to walk the stage. This happened to be during the recession in the 2000s, so I had an excuse for not finding a conventionally professional job right after that. Now I actually have a really good job with a company that focuses on hiring people based on experience, skill, and personality. So it turns out I didn't even need that degree, but I will never tell my parents the truth. And now I am the most successful doctor in the tri-state area. I have been operating completely on other people's opinions. I have a very well-connected industry, and I just send all my work to a vast array of people. So there you go. Historical Echo 3529 replies and says, "Oh my god, dude, I'm in the same boat. I was going to type the same thing and just wanted to see if anyone else had the same secret. I just feel a little revealed that relieved that there's someone else like me. I'm in a good position, and I think this secret will just disappoint everyone at this point, so I'm not ever bringing it up." Man, let me just say this. I haven't heard of too many stories where people have lied about getting their degrees and it's turned out good. Most of the time, like Elizabeth Holmes, isn't this the entire thing with Elizabeth Holmes? Isn't this the whole reason why we have Sam Bankman-Fried? Is because these people are just like, "Oh my god, guru." And then it's like, "Oh my god, billion-dollar Ponzi scheme. How could this have happened?" It's like, well, maybe no one was doing their due diligence on actually, checking up on what these people were doing and seeing if they actually had any real qualifications or credentials to be doing what they're doing. I heard Elizabeth Holmes or something wants to start a new project or something, and I was like, what? Like, in case anyone doesn't know, Elizabeth Holmes, it's like, you can go look her up online. There's plenty of YouTube videos about Elizabeth Holmes, but she is like this. Oh my god, she's so ridiculous. She's this she was seen as this like Steve Jobs type of person, and she had this like idea that you could look for diseases or something in blood by taking like a small prick from their finger, like how you would with a diabetes thing, and that you could like test them for all these like diseases and all this stuff and cancer and whatnot. And it turns out like she was just lying the entire time, and everyone at her company just was like didn't know what was going on, and then it was just a matter of time. But yet she would keep going on interviews and telling everybody like how amazing the project is going, and she would use this, like, she would purposely put her voice lower, and she was like caught on tape like lowering her voice to like make her sound like she has, I don't know, more authority. But look up videos about Elizabeth Holmes. It's really wild. Next, I think she did a TED Talk. Like, what? She did a TED Talk, and she literally just fooled everyone. So next one comes from Mac and Cheese 167. "I won the lottery, haven't told anyone or changed my lifestyle. I'm still going to finish my degree in data science so I can say my money is from my new job." That's crazy. So and then further, Mac and Cheese says, "Winnings just surpassed the 8-figure mark. Oh my god, on a $10 quick pick. Why would a DS play the lotto? Well, I'm not one yet, but just for shits and giggles every once in a while. Yes, I know the odds, but that 0.00002.24% chance could be you. That's crazy." So as soon as he gets the new job, the next day he pulls up with the Maserati. It's like, are you sure the check clears that fast? He's just like waiting to get, he's got the Maserati parked in his garage, and all he can do is just like rev it. It's like all of his neighbors are just like, what is going on inside that garage? As soon as he gets the new job, pulls out of the garage with the Maserati. Next one comes from Ziyushi. "My childhood friend has 2 siblings that he doesn't know exist." Whoa. "They're twins, around 2 years old now. I promised to keep it a secret. My dad and his dad are close friends. My dad is quite the gossip and spilled every last detail to me." Oh my god. "Apparently their father, handsome, tall, and sports prodigy, slept with a doctor who lied about being on birth control so that she could give birth to his children." Oh my god. Who claimed she had superior genetics. She was his former doctor who pulled up his private records in order to score a date with him, as she had all his contact info at hand. Never wanted child support or even a father in her kids' lives. Just was an involuntary sperm donor. Very weird. What? That is insane. What? How would you not even be sus, though? Like, "Hey, doc, how did you, like, my number, you're calling me on my personal number. Why is that?" "Oh, just want to catch up, just want to see what you're up to. Just maybe we could chill sometime. But so nothing came on my cancer screening? No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. Actually, you're a pretty remarkable genetic specimen, to be honest. So yeah, I just want to see if you want to hang or something. Just trying to you want to chill or Hung Fu Pan comments and says, while I am genuinely happy to meet you, I have no intention of remembering your name until we interact at least 3 or 4 more times. You know what? I am so horrible for this too. I'm absolutely awful with this. I will meet new people. I'll forget their names because it's just, first of all, I meet new people actually on a decent basis. And I'm not good with name retention like that. I've had full-blown long conversations with people and I won't remember their names. And it is embarrassing. And I'm just waiting for other people to say it so that I'm just right, Jeremy, what's up, bro? Yeah, that's a tough one. And people will and also I meet a lot of new people sometimes too. And and it's also especially because of the job that I work in, and I'm always meeting new people, and people will tell me things about themselves, and I'll ask them questions and be like, oh, I told you this last time I saw you. And I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, how could I forget? Yeah, I have no idea. I am constantly mixing up people's stories and recreational activities. I have no idea what you're doing. I'm so sorry, but I genuinely have no idea what you're doing. AdWorried5791 says, I left my job at an electronics manufacturing company in 2002, but they continued paying me full salary, including all incremental raises and annual bonus, until they offered me a very generous redundancy package in 2022 due to departmental restructuring, including an £85,000 lump sum contribution to my pension fund. I even got the quarterly magazine and annual Christmas card sent to me. In March of this year, I got an invite to the 75th anniversary of the company. Went along, had a great time at the free bar, and nobody realized I hadn't worked there in over 20 years. You have to love an administrative error. Make sure this is a throwaway account, okay? And maybe change, reply from Reganatu says, maybe edit your posts and remove the dates and information, bro. You definitely don't want anyone finding out. Yeah, I think that's probably the safe move here. Maybe an electronics manufacturing company, we don't need to know that, bro. We don't need to know that. This post has 9.5K upvotes. Okay, you don't even want to take the chance that one of those people might be somebody who you used to work with. All right? This could be bad. You could be very much sued for a lot of money. But gotta love the mistakes. Gotta love those accounting errors, Gotta love that. What have you been doing? Have you just been getting these checks? Have you been, for the last 20 years, just not doing anything? Did you retire in 2002? What? I'm so confused. Isidia comments, I sometimes have a strong urge to run away from my life and start over. It may not ruin it, but won't be good. Hey, man, I don't think you're the only person, with that inclination sometimes. I think some of us all feel like we just want to run away, and live out in the wilderness. I was talking about this with my friends the other day, but I was like, man, if we went into an apocalypse, everyone would be so screwed, man. The only person who would survive would be Les Stroud. And in case anyone who doesn't know who Les Stroud is, he's the survivor man. But we have no survival skills. All right? I was thinking I need to take a survival class or something. I would literally be so screwed. I would have no idea what I would be doing. I don't know how to make a makeshift tent in the woods. I don't know which mushrooms I can eat and which ones I can't. I'm going to end up killing myself. It's like Michael in The Office when he's like, all right, perfect, found these mushrooms. These are going to be a great source of nutrition for me. And then he tries to eat them, and Dwight stops him because he's going to fucking kill himself. Fire here 53 comments and says, I think I'm not as nice as people believe I am. I am just acting according to social norms, and in reality, everything outside my home makes me feel tired and drained. No, this is, yeah, you're actually a nice person, because if you weren't a nice person, you wouldn't be able to put on the front. So and that's, I think, low key how everybody feels, you know? Like, I feel like talking to people you need to talk to in a nice way has got to be one of the most mentally draining things you could like possibly do in your entire life. But anyways, I'm going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Reddit Asks Us podcast. Please remember to comment something, and I will read it out on the next podcast on the following week. You can answer this week's Reddit question and then in the description, and you will also be notified when your response is published. Thank you so much for tuning into the Reddit Asks Us podcast. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating, and also please leave us a review. And I will see y'all next week. Peace out, love you, and bye.